Ivanka Trump facing harsh criticism for stepping in to take President Trump's place at a G20 meeting on Saturday. Normally, absences like that are covered by high-ranking officials or aides. President Trump says there is a double standard, saying if Chelsea Clinton were asked to hold the seat for her mother, as her mother gave her country away, the fake news would say Chelsea for president. My political panel joins me now, Independent Women's Forum senior policy analyst Patrice Leon-Wuka and Democrat strategist Danielle McLaughlin. First to you, Patrice. Chelsea responded saying her mother or father wouldn't have let her sit there. If it were Chelsea, would the media have acted differently? By the way, when Bill Clinton was president, Chelsea was like 14 years old, and Hillary never won the presidency.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're just seeing her trying to remain relevant and potentially float her name as a candidate in the future, presidential candidate in the future, which the left absolutely hates. They do not want her to run. But Ivanka actually she was part of the official delegation. The host, Angela Merkel, said, you know, it's okay for her to be part of the discussion. And the discussion was at a critical moment, talking about development in Africa, which the initiative that Ivanka helped push through would have benefited.
You know, Hillary Clinton was criticized for stepping in to reform health care under Bill Clinton. You don't like this, right? You didn't like that Ivanka did this. Go ahead.
No, and you know, there was a lot of controversy over what Hillary Clinton did, although in a way what Hillary Clinton did sort of paved the way for Ivanka and for Jared now, in a sense. Bobby Kennedy, classic example. We have these anti-nepotism rules because of Bobby Kennedy, 10 years out of law school, became the Attorney General. New York Times at the time said this is outrageous. You know, it's not about Democrat or Republican. I think there's a fundamental question about whether this country is a meritocracy or not. The president has a huge amount of discretion, obviously, to choose his advisors. But there are plenty of other people who might have sat at that table, who may be advising the president, who have far more experience and possibly more helpful to the American people than a family member.
You know, to your point about Angela Merkel defending Ivanka, what do you make of what Danielle's saying here, Patrice?
I mean, I think it's an interesting point. But again, you know, this is not just a random family member. This is a woman who's an entrepreneur, who's built businesses, international businesses, and who has helped to push forward this initiative that delivered $50 million from the United States to help women entrepreneurs around the country. And again, as I mentioned, from reports, the discussion at the time that the president, when he sat out, was about development in Africa. So if she was the person who was pushing the initiative, wouldn't it make sense for her to be at the table at that time compared to other people?
And Danielle, there were reports that UK Prime Minister Theresa May was seen leaving the G20 meeting room at one point. Her place was briefly taken by an aide, as we have pointed out. Is Ivanka being singled out because she's a Trump?
I think possibly. In some ways, I think that she is receiving some vitriol in a way that perhaps other people might not. Because I think in some ways what her father is doing is very outside the realms of sort of normal political behaviour, and some people are having a problem with that. I think the main thing that we need to remember is to not make this personal, not to cast her off as a handbag advisor, excuse me, a handbag designer. Clearly she has her father's ear, clearly she has some ideas. We need to keep this about what I guess the process and not the person.
Okay. Patrice, Danielle, thank you so much.